Good evening. Welcome to Xbox Tavern's X-Pod Tavern, episode 103rd. 103rd already, crazy. On a lovely Sunday evening. I am Jamie, and I'm once again joined by MPV Graham.
Hello.
Hello, MPV Graham. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. We got a special guest this week. The good one, the only special guest, Pete.
Hello, good evening. Wow,
Hello.
thank you for having me back, guys. It's very exciting.
It's been too long, and it was time to get rid of Ian, bin him off, and just bring in special guest Pete to drop the knowledge on us.
Yeah.
We're all ready for do. And of course, the one, the only Scottish Gruff Ross is hosting and doing all the good stuff behind the scenes. How are you, Ross?
Not too bad, lads. Yourself?
All good.
Thumbs up galore. Yeah, as I said, no Millie Manny in this week. He's away doing something somewhere with someone. Not really sure the details, but we'll leave it at that. Fill in your wildest guesses in the comments below, or hit him up at Twitter and tell him to stop doing whatever it is you want to tell him to stop doing. We're going to get into the gaming news as we do every Sunday, 8 p.m.
Ish.
Come on, what was that?
See, I don't do it. I don't do it one time, and that's the lack of effort you get.
Yeah, we need you back. 8 p.m.
Ish.
Yes, that's better. And we'll start with the news that the Xbox dropped just a few days ago. We are getting an Xbox and Bethesda showcase. In just a few short days. It's going to be on the 20. Why doesn't this want to scroll up, you bastard? 5th. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. 25th of January, so 10 days from now. And it's going to focus on updates on games including Elder Scrolls Online, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, and, of course, the big one, the one we really all want to hear about, Redfall. That's the one.
Yeah.
They're going to supposedly do a Starfield standalone show in the works later on with no date or details about that yet. But as I said, they're going to focus on those 4 games. I'm sure there'll be a few other hints and surprises and stuff. I'm just going to read a quick bit off of VGC and then we'll get into the chatter about it. So they've pulled out a quote from the Microsoft thing where they say, like I said, Elder Scrolls, Forza Motorsport stuff. Forza Motorsport one, I want to read to say the team at Turn 10 have been hard at work bringing fans the next generation of Forza Motorsport built from the ground up to take advantage of the Xbox Series X and S. It's back, and we can't wait to share more gameplay and exciting new details. So, Ross, what does that do for you? What are you excited to hear and see and think about? And obviously, there's another bit in this thing where obviously they're saying games coming in the next few months. Aaron Greenberg's tweet here says, we're going to take you inside the studio to see some games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months. Obviously, that includes Forza. So, Ross, Forza it up for a second, please, before we move on to the other games.
It's just going to be nice having a racing game that doesn't advertise ray tracing in it and is just in the pause menu.
Shots fired already. 2 minutes.
Forza games are always beautiful. So hopefully this fully unleashes the power of Xbox, gets to see exactly what they can do. I think Ian was saying last week on the show as well, I'm more of a Horizon player. Prefer just the sort of laid back nature of Horizon, but I think with the wheel, the pedals and stuff like that I've invested in, probably should get into the actual motorsport side of things.
Yeah, a bit more technical. So obviously the motorsport one's more track based, isn't it, rather than Horizons? Have they said it? Well, I suppose they haven't really given much detail, but have they said of any tracks or anything that sort of got you interested, or is there any ones from previous series you'd like to finally try?
I just think they've not that I've seen anyway. They've put out anything specific. I've not paid a massive attention to sort of what they've released about it because there was no solid date. So it's one of these things where you don't want to hype yourself up too much and then find out you're
perfect dark.
Exactly. No, but whatever the tracks that they put in it, I'm sure it'll be an absolutely stunning game. If they've got the ability to put any of the ones sort of historically that are like Laguna Seca or the Suzuka Nürburgring type idea, then there'll be the details that they'll put into that will just be spectacular.
Nice. And special guest Pete, let's get you in on the conversation because you're the other resident racing man here. Does Forza Motorsport do anything for you? Does this new one do anything for you? Is there anything yay or nay about it?
I mean, I'm the opposite to Ross. I do prefer the track racing. So on the Horizons, again, it looks beautiful, but it's just not for me. So there's a lot of good. Obviously, you play F1 a lot, but there's also this new sim game. well, it's not new, but I think it's called Assetto Corsa or something, and it's a proper simulation racing game. And it's kind of starting to kind of gain momentum, even though it's already been out a few years. So if Forza can take a slice of that pie and make it that good as a sim game, then I'm definitely in. Definitely trying out.
Yeah, because I think that Assetto Corsa, that's like a hardcore
Yeah.
racing sim type idea. Like, I mean, I've seen a couple of players that like their full setups that they've got based in it. It's basically the cockpit of an F1 car in their bedroom.
Yeah.
And it's proper. You power into a corner even a slightest bit too much, and you're in a gravel trap.
Yeah. A guy
facing backwards. It looks brutal.
Yeah, a guy I play F1 with has just literally invested about £1,500 just to get a better setup so he can play Assetto Corsa more, which is crazy when you think about it.
Crazy money that you can.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to be looking forward to Forza Motorsport as well, I imagine. Great. Are you ready to special cars up? Should we just get on the track and just see what kind of damage we can cause?
Curious. I heard Rainbow Road might be coming to it, so that might pique my interest.
I mean, it's not a stealth racing game, so you should be all right, Greg. You know.
I mean, we can make it stealth if you like. You know. No, anyway, we'll get.
Let's make racing a little bit more interesting for me.
Yeah, let's talk about something you are a bit more interested in, perhaps. What about this Minecraft Legends game? I know you quite enjoyed. I forgot the name of it again. What was the other one they did? Minecraft Dungeons.
Dungeons.
Yeah, Dungeons. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll read this little quote and then you can say if you got much interest in this. It says, Mojang Studios will showcase an insider's look into the PvP multiplayer from Minecraft Legends, upcoming action strategy game. Developed in partnership with Blackburn Interactive, launching this spring. Don't miss exclusive gameplay footage at the developer. You have to say developer _direct. So at the developer direct. You're going to see this. Does that float your boat? Are you interested to see more, considering how much we enjoyed Dungeons?
Yeah, I'm interested to dabble anyway. I mean, as long as the PvP is it? It's not going to say it's the same style as Dungeons, though, right? Is it completely different?
It's more of an action strategy thing rather than like a Diablo type game.
Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely interested to take a look. I didn't mind the OG Minecraft. Didn't mind Dungeons as well. They're both kind of good in their own right. And yeah, I'm interested to take a look, see what it's got up its sleeve anyway. Could be interesting. Just whether it's got the legs to last a long time. So I think Dungeons had many legs compared to the original Minecraft anyway. But still
yeah, I mean, we kind of blitzed through an amount of the game, and then I don't even remember if we finished it or not, but we kind of fell off it quite quickly, whereas obviously, as you said, the original Minecraft has been going for about as long as a piece of string at this point. So anyone else got any interest in Minecraft Legends at all?
No, I'm sure we'll give it a go because it'll be on Game Pass on launch, won't it? So I'm sure we'll give it a go at some point.
Damn right. And then likewise, Elder Scrolls Online. I don't think any of us are particularly interested in the ESO universe, but they're going to include updates. 2023's major chapter update, including the latest regions of Tamriel to become available, as well as a major new feature coming in the game's biggest update this year. The developer Direct will be immediately followed by the full standalone ESO chapter reveal event. So that's getting its own event after the fact, which obviously, again, if you're an ESO player, which millions of people are, I'm sure that's going to float your boat tremendously. Anyone interested in ESO, or should we move on to the main event here?
I wish I could get into it, but...
No. Oh, yeah, me and you dabbled in it a bit, Jay, didn't we? I think when it first came out.
Yeah, we tried
it, but
it just did not stick at all.
It was just a poor man's WoW, really, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's the kind of game that I think if it had come out when something like WoW came out, and we were sort of into the Elder Scrolls, then it might have hooked us. But now, I don't know. I'm not speaking for you lot, but I haven't got the time to invest in something like that.
No.
So, yeah, not for us. But let's get into the main event, shall we? Why is Starfield not here? We're going to talk about Redfall, don't worry. But do you reckon they say obviously Starfield?
Yeah,
Starfield is getting its own event later on, but there's no date for that. But it's still supposed to be coming before June. Do you reckon we might be seeing another delay for that before we move on to Redfall, sort of thing?
It's not coming out before June.
Yeah, that's when it's because they said in the next 12 months when they did last June's or July, whatever it was, showcase.
The only reason, they might drop it the last day of June, but the only reason I say otherwise is because there's been, again, it's only potential, but there's been a leaked launch date for Redfall. and it doesn't make sense for it to be that close together.
I
But
was about to
There
say,
might-
was there a date for Redfall?
yeah, well, there's the rumored release date of May the 2nd is when they suspect it might drop. Obviously, nothing confirmed as of yet. But if you drop that May 2nd, could you drop Starfield last week in June?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a couple of months there, but still, unless they're gonna go on a new tangent or new sort of cadence where they have Redfall, Starfield, and then another big game basically every month or every 2 months. I think that's sort of cramming two big games into one, and then you've got nothing for the rest of the year again.
Could you do that for the last part of the year? Sort of the last 6 months of the year, just have big or bigger launches, just stagger them.
I think that's
through.
what they're going to have to do, and that's possibly what we see here. Obviously, again, they're focusing on these four, but I don't see them not saying anything about a few other games. Maybe even update on. There was a rumor the other day that GoldenEye should be coming out by the end of the month on Xbox Live, on Game Pass, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we could get updates, things like that as well.
Thing is with Starfield, obviously, it's going to be because it's such a big game. It's going to have some kind of roadmap in there, don't you? Where we're going to add this, we're going to add this, we're going to add this. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, that's coming at some point soon. Again, they could squeeze it in the release, like you said, Ross, or they could be like, well, actually, how about 11/11/23 instead? Let's go with that. But yeah, we'll see. But
the internet would melt if that's what happened.
I know that's. I mean, that's almost getting into sort of Halo territory, isn't it? Where they had the release date set for the end of 2020, and then they delayed it all the way back to 2021, and then even then it didn't quite hit the mark.
Yeah.
But
the longer they delay Starfield, the longer we won't hear anything about the next Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we won't hear the longer about next Fallout.
Yeah, exactly.
What about that? So this one. So yeah, Redfall. Again, I'll read the little quote the VGC got here from their thing. The minds behind Dishonored and Prey. I mean, you've already sold me there. Arcane Austin will showcase several minutes of gameplay from the upcoming FPS. The developer Direct will reveal singular multiplayer gameplay, showing more of how you and your friends will take down bloodthirsty vampires on the picturesque island of Redfall, Massachusetts. Fans can expect to learn more about combat, customization, bosses, the open world, and more. So, as you said, Ross, the release date was leaked. I imagine that will be confirmed at this, whether it is May 2nd or another date, what have you. Do you think we might see some sort of early beta or alpha or something that perhaps released on that day, and you can go test it now, type thing?
I think they'd be stupid not to. I think with the type of game that it is, they need to sort of stress test the servers because, well, obviously it's Arcane that's doing it.
Yeah.
They don't have a track record of online multiplayer.
No, they've got a fantastic single player track record, which we'll talk more about later.
Exactly. So that's brilliant, but then they now need to make sure that the multiplayer experience is just as good.
Yeah. I mean, the only other one they've sort of helped out with was what's it called, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yeah.
And I mean, the game wasn't all that great, but the multiplayer connection side of things was good. But obviously, that's only 2 players, whereas this is 4 in a massive open world.
Yeah.
Or biggish open world with all sorts of crazy shit going on. So yeah, very excited to see more about that. I imagine it'll end the show. Probably give it the longest segment. I would have thought, considering it's probably the nearest one. Although, I mean, again, we're going to get a release date for Forza and Minecraft. So Forza.
Yeah, I think Redfall will be where they finish it.
They should do, unless they've got another a big surprise or something. Yeah. But yeah, so this on, like I said, the 25th. It begins at 8 p.m. English time, and then 12 p.m. PT and 3 p.m. ET. So make sure you set your watches, set your alarms. I don't know what day is the 25th. I already should have looked at that.
For 10 days, it'll be a Wednesday, won't it?
Wednesday. So are we looking to do some sort of watch along or reaction or something at some point? We can discuss this afterwards, of course, but it would be quite fun, I think, to join in the fun. Are you excited about that idea, Gray?
Oh, I just remember the last time you got smashed on. You tried to do the podcast after drinking on it.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing any drinking games during it. I'll just watch it and then we can talk about it afterwards.
That's why that was a funny old episode.
But yeah, well, I mean, we could talk about it afterwards, but perhaps we'll do something like that. Or if not, again, we'll record the Sunday afterwards and we'll discuss it then at 8 p.m.
Yes.
There we go. A bit of thank you very much. So we'll see what happens on that day. That'd be wonderful. And then again, more news on Starfield, and hopefully more games throughout the year, not just until June, and then like, oh shit, we didn't plan any further than this. Quickly have Avowed and a trailer for Elder Scrolls or something,
and the potential re-release of Scalebound.
And the potential, I saw that story earlier on. They're supposedly working with who was it again?
Platinum Games.
Platinum Games, thank you. I'm trying to bring Scalebound back, but I think that's beyond help at this point. I think really.
I say it's been a few years since that was cancelled, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think they were saying that they were
Legends or whatever it was called, the 4-player asynchronous multiplayer game.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll see what other surprises they have. Speaking of surprises, Ubisoft, oh my god, you'll never believe what they've done. They've only gone and cancelled games and delayed Skull and Bones.
Hold the phone. What?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me just get the thing up here. But this is the 6th time they've delayed Skull and Bones now over the last decade or so.
I found it bad enough that they cancelled it. They've delayed this. What got to me more was they've cancelled 3 unannounced games. Well, just don't fucking tell anybody you've cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
But that's just their invest. Oh yeah, we have been we have been doing something. The money you're giving us. Honestly,
we haven't just been sitting around scratching our ass. We're working, but we're not actually going to do anything with what we've been doing now. Again, VGC got the news here. So announced on Wednesday, the company said it's facing major challenges as the industry continues to shift between mega brands and long-lasting titles that can reach players across the globe, across platforms and business models. I hate corporate quotes like that. They're horrible.
Well, things will change after about 6 years.
Yeah, so they said they spent the last 4 years attempting to adapt the biggest brands, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Ghost Recon, and Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, and The Division to these converging trends. Again, a horrible, horrible phrase. However, the games from this investment phase have yet to be released, while our recent launches have not performed as well as expected. I think they said something about Mario Sparks of Hope and Just Dance not hitting the highs they were hoping for. And again, they've delayed Skull and Bones, which was supposed to be out in March, will now arrive early in the next fiscal year, which technically runs from April. So it could just be a month delay. It could be a year delay. Who knows? And it's apparently the improvements they've seen so far have been very positive. Even though, I mean, again, they delayed it about 1,500 times.
I wonder if they tried to make it a live service game and then just saw every single live service game come out and just get shat on and think maybe we should change it and do something.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody care about Skull and Bones at this point? Or did anybody ever care? And do you care now?
I did when it first got announced, because I seen Sea of Thieves and thought, great idea, not a big fan of the art style. So then Skull and Bones came out, I was like, ooh, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Hyped up for that, and then
so I just heard Ian crying when you heard Blackwater.
Black Flag. I couldn't be any less interested in if I tried.
Yeah, no, but like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, that's just an upspuff version of like I said, Sea of Thieves. But it does look interesting. But again, it's probably gonna be totally different from the trailer they showed yesterday, whatever it was.
It's great. Did you have any thoughts on it? Because I don't feel I could care any less.
No, it's building its way to be the next Duke Nukem, where it's been so long coming, and it's going to be about as powerful as an indoor firework.
I did see somewhere someone say something about Duke Nukem. Like it's basically it's either just past Duke Nukem's length, or is like this year will be Duke Nukem. Like
I'm
if it
sure
doesn't
it's
come
past
out,
it. I'm sure I had read somewhere that it was
already
past it.
Pushed past Duke Nukem, and now it's the longest fucking
The
delayed game.
Duke Nukem at the rest of the series to have people sort of going, I'm eager to see this. Whereas, I mean, this is a first, isn't it? It's not like it's a sequel.
Yeah, it's a new series based on Assassin's Creed naval combat, but.
Exactly.
Who knows how much of that is left at this point after fucking 10 whatever years it's been. I mean, they're not having a good time of it. Obviously, they've got all other sort of shit going on as well. But I would be interested to know what the cancelled games are, because we still know that they've got some sort of Splinter Cell remake in the works, and they've got what's it called, Beyond Good and Evil 2 and stuff like that. But these are unannounced ones. So were they working on a new Far Cry, a new Division, maybe a new Rainbow Six? Siege is however many years old at this point.
I don't think they'll ever kill Siege.
No.
Yeah, I mean that's
I
still
think
going from
that-
strength to strength.
yeah.
I mean, did you? Speaking of which, actually, quick hit news story. Did you see the Undertaker and Becky Lynch costumes for Blackbeard and I forget the lady's name? They look hilarious. You
Yeah.
should look them up if you haven't seen them.
That's terrible.
And they're like 30 quid for the pair. I was like,
Oh.
no, thank you.
Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, Siege is obviously based on that alone is still going from strength to strength. But I mean, we haven't had a single player Rainbow Six in a long time, so that would have been nice to get a proper.
Well, I mean, you saw how much was it Extraction? How much that one kind of bombed, wasn't it?
This is true. I mean, you say that I completely forgot that existed. So
Yeah.
Oh, Extraction.
So did I until I read that. I was like, oh yeah, that exists.
I quite enjoyed the Extraction, but it just
it was alright for an evening or two, but
yeah,
it was the same sticking power as Siege.
No, it just no.
You wouldn't have thought they killed the Far Cry series. I don't think it would have killed something like that. That's quite a consistent chain.
It's probably new IPs or spin-off of games, you know.
Yeah, Rayman or something.
They've not kill off the Far Cry series. It's too.
They need to carry on. I just wonder if
tell you what,
whatever the next game is,
they may want to cancel Skull and Bones 2, 3, and 4 because they should have done that by now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's their avatar. Like if they finally release one, like you said, then they just feel like hit sequel, the sequel, and then it just completely put everyone off even more. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Skull and Bones, whether it comes out in April, whether it comes out next March, or whether it ever comes out at all. Who knows? And then when it does come out, if it's a fucking damp squib, or if anybody actually gives
put
two
themselves
shits.
in a rock and a hard place. It's they've waited so long with it. If it comes out and it's cack, it means all that effort was for nothing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean,
if they never put it out, it's worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see if it gets released.
Go on, Pete.
I'll say, let's see if it gets released by the next time I come on the podcast.
They did share a new gameplay trailer of it, but again, I care that little. I didn't even bother watching any of it. It's like 30 minutes of information. They showed the gameplay dev stream was dedicated to narrative gameplay with commentary from people who work on it. They showed more game. I mean, again, no one cares, especially none of us. I'm terribly sorry.
I watched a little bit of that, and the most noted thing I said is when they said can be done solo. So obviously, what I said earlier about being a live service game, it's probably meant to be played with more than one person. So yeah, you can do it, but we've designed it to play with at least 3 or 4 of your friends at the same time.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key. As you said, so many games come out like that, live service things. How many games have Square Enix cancelled in the last year of things that have come out and they've given it a few months and gone, oh, well, no one's interested because they're too busy playing Fortnite and Apex and PUBG and things like that. Oh, we'll just cancel it. It's just,
and the time and money they've spent on it, it needs to hit. It needs to land.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've got all their microtransaction currencies and stuff, and no one's buying them. So there's no point keeping it up. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Skull and Bones. Hopefully soon, and then we can forget about it ever existed and move on with our lives. And go play Stranded Deep, which is on Game Pass now, which I played. I said to you that in the chat. What the no, not for me at all. I think me and Ian should like stream it and see who can survive the longest.
Because why you thought I can't see where you would have liked it.
You got to try these things, didn't you? But I thought I'd last more than not even getting past the tutorial. But no.
Yeah, my son tried it and goes, well, Daddy, I died about 10 times because I keep dying of dehydration.
I mean, I didn't die. I just couldn't get off the island to go onto the water. I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. Right, turn the game off. I'll just die on this island. It's fine. But yeah, that's like the main hits of the news stories these weeks. So it gives them quick hits, real quick, if you like. As I said, the WWE character skins. I mean, again, if you haven't looked them up, just look at a picture on that article I've shared. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, Xbox consoles will soon be carbon aware. What does that mean? Who knows? Basically, they set in everybody's console to energy saver mode. You can change it back to quick start or whatever it was before, but they're setting it back to energy saver and they're making some changes so that
when does
consoles use as little power as possible.
I think I've already seen it. Because
the insiders should have it, and I think it's starting to roll out.
Because even when it's in shutdown power mode, it can still do game updates, and I was like, "That's all you want. That's why you have it on the."
That's where you have the quick.
So even if it's in energy saver, it still does your updates.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's fine now. I've
Yeah,
got
so,
stuff.
so that I think has been part of it for a while, but this forces everybody to have it. So whereas before you could choose and whatever you set and leave it to it, once you update it, it will force this back on, and then you have to go back and turn it off if you want to. But again, you don't need to because it'll update your games, update your console. It
That's
just
fine
won't
then.
let you do like remote play and stuff like that. You need to have it on quick
That's
start for
fine.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been using that for ages. It's much better, and it takes a few seconds to turn on anyway, so it's not the end of the world. So go check your console, make sure it's set to that one because that is going to save you some monies in the electric bill as well. Halo apparently is a massive hit for Paramount Plus. I mean, was it? Everybody seemed to shit on it, but apparently it did pretty well.
Problem is, what is Paramount Plus comparing it to? I mean,
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
other shows that are on their platform. Fair one.
Yeah, I mean, I signed up for it. I didn't watch it, but I signed up for it, so maybe they're counting that.
All I remember hearing about
it
Halo was
was
the
like-
number one show.
People got mad at Master Chief because he got jiggy, you know.
Because he got jiggy and took his helmet off. So apparently
Wait,
eclipsed
his helmet's
Yellowstone and 1883, whatever they are. They must be a big series. But season 2 is now in production, which I mean, I might watch season 1 at some point. That'd be nice. Digital games are dominating UK at almost 90% of overall sales on the Xbox last year.
It's crazy.
Which, I mean, it's crazy to think about.
But not surprising, yeah.
Not surprising, and really, I mean, the only reason I've got any physical games is because I've been sent them. I've not bought any of them. On
The thing
Xbox,
is, do they obviously if you own Game Pass, if you then download that game on Game Pass, do they count that as obviously it's not a purchase, but do they count that towards the sales?
These sort of stats are always a bit wishy-washy with things like that. I don't know whether it counts, like you said, just people playing it or whether they've actually purchased it or what have you. But still, most of it is digital, and obviously something like Game Pass is going to help with that, isn't it? Because you can't get that physically, so you're going to have to download digitally. Yeah, so there's that, and then a quick, another quick one, Oreo pack. Xbox Oreo packs that unlocks cosmetic in Halo, Sea of Thieves, and Forza. They've teamed up with Oreo to do little Xbox themed cookies, biscuits, whatever you want to call them, and you get some cosmetics like an Oreo ship in Sea of Thieves, and I think some sort of Oreo weapon charm for Halo and stuff like that.
Didn't they do that with Mountain Dew? Was that last year or the year before?
They've probably done it with Mountain Dew. They've done it with a few different things, but I think they had a donut one last year with Krispy Kreme as well.
That was it. Yeah, the Krispy Kreme.
They were quite nice donuts actually. But anyway, that's about it for that really. Yeah. Let's get out of the news section, shall we? That's half an hour of news. Hopefully you found something of interest there, and something of interest is coming your way thanks to Ross. Please plug me, Ross, while you finish your drink. I'll carry on talking until you're ready. Go for it now. Please plug me.
Have to hydrate properly before I plug you.
Oh, I know.
Wouldn't be
You don't want to go.
sufficiently
You don't want to go
satisfying.
in dry, do you?
Exactly. So, plugs for this week, patreon.com/Xbox Tavern. If you want to jump in and support us with your hard-earned money, that is greatly appreciated. Doesn't matter how big or little. As Tesco would say, every little helps. Apple and Spotify podcasts. If you want to jump on, rate us 5 stars. Leave us a wee comment, things that you like, things that you think we could do better. It's always appreciated. Written reviews. G will have a list of written reviews on the site, which is xboxtavern.com. Socials, you can see them running along the bottom of the screen. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Instagram. We're all on them as well. I'm sure there'll be numerous things posted up on them recently. Discord, link in the show notes. Jay's getting super competitive with his guess the games, asking everybody to get their statistics up so that he can shame us all when he gets
Yours
his
was
completions.
shocking, Ross. I'm disappointed. That's outrageous.
I don't realise how poor it was. I think it's because I clicked through them. If I don't know it, I just go like right to the very end. I've played my day. That's me done for the day. And last but by no means least, insert coin. We have a shiny new promo code, which I'm sure will trigger Ian because it's still as messed up as the last one. But this one is
It works. That's the main thing.
Well, that is the main thing. Yes, Xbox Tavern 23, so it can be used for £5 off orders over £50.
Nice, and that, I believe at the minute runs till the end of June, so you still got plenty of time to get in there and pick up some stuff. Represent. It's got the Resident Evil merch this week. Mass Effect, nice, good. Yeah,
A few years old, but yeah, it still counts.
Yeah, likewise. I don't think you can get this one anymore, but there's still plenty of decent stuff on there. Speaking of guess again, though, before we move on from the plugs, thank you, Ross. Graham, you're suspiciously quiet when it comes to guess the game. What's going on there?
I haven't been doing it.
Oh, He's been thrown under the bus.
Outrageous. You're the one I want to see how you get on, because I think you'll probably do.
He's doing it.
well,
He's just failing every day. He just doesn't want to
I
share.
know, maybe that's it. Yeah, he's got none right.
Maybe it
guys,
is.
but
What
I'm
you
not
used to
doing
do,
it.
great, is you can go back to day one and just do it in order. Do day 1, 2, 3, and just do 200
Oh
in a
yeah,
row
I
and see
know
how
you
far
can
get.
go back and do
Yeah,
it.
that's
But
what I
it's
did.
not like 200 in all days.
I think we're on about 220 or something now. Yeah, I loved it. I went back through all of them in a couple of days, and yeah, I think it's a great game. So good work. I can't remember his name. It's like Sam Dev on Twitter, at Sam Dev, I think. Yeah, go give him some love, because it's a great take on the old Wordle with video games.
Was one of the first ones not like Mass Effect 3?
Don't give him any hints. He doesn't need any hints.
One of. It was basically one of the ones that you said, Jay, oh, you would have got this one really quick, Ross. And I was like, oh, maybe they're not as hard as I thought they would be. So I thought, I'm going to start playing this. False sense of security.
Yeah.
I must admit,
Games
some of them I don't know where they come from. They just sort of
It's
pop
fact
into my head.
some of them pop up saying hit release before Metacritic. The fuck?
Yeah. I was like, right, Jake got it in one. Right, it could be an easy one. Right, PC indie game released 2017. What the fuck? Like, they all look the same.
If you've not played it, guess the .game is the web link. And yeah, it's great fun, and I enjoy doing it every day, much more than the other ones. The
part of my
word
morning
games
routine.
and stuff. You're damn right. Well, it's been part of my midnight routine because I've been up so late lately. I've just been doing it before I go to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
You can almost do it habitually, like 3 minutes past midnight. There's going to be like something in the Discord.
Yeah.
Jamie, guess the game.
Sometimes it's like before midnight, though, isn't it? Sometimes you can.
I know
Get
sometimes
about
it pops
11,
up about 20 minutes early. Yeah, I don't know how that works, but anyway, go play Guess the Game. Let us know your results in the Discord or on Twitter or whatever. That would be very interesting to see how people are getting on. But we're going to move on from that sort of daily question to a quick week one. From I believe, was this from yourself, special guest Pete?
Yeah, I had trouble thinking of one because I think I'm all questioned out at the moment.
I know we need to get some good questions in. So if you've got any questions, again, hit some Discord, Twitter, in the comments below. Just ask us a question. We'll answer it on the show.
Maybe we should open up to kind of non-gaming questions like, "What's your perfect English breakfast?" You know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll ask
favorite flavor of crisps. You know, why not?
Let's do Xbox Taverns AMA every week. Ask us a question, whatever you like, and as long as it's not going to get us in trouble or offend too many people. We can offend some people, just not too many people.
You're saying about offending people, and you've really opened up with a culinary question to a Scotsman. They're going to have you sitting in a corner, rocking backwards and forwards, going.
What kind of? No, we won't get into it. Anyway, so
what can we deep fry this week?
What we could deep fry is our gaming skills. Maybe that would improve them. That was a terrible segue. But the question is, what is the one game that you suck at that you wish you were any good at? I'm going to go with special guest Pete, seeing as you asked it, you answer it.
Oh, great question, Pete. Oh, thank you. So, what game do I suck at that I wish I was good at? I mean, obvious ones are games like Elden Ring, you know, the Demon Souls kind of games. But I just put, honestly, one game, I just put FPS games in general. I just suck at them these days. It's why I've avoided games like kind of Deathloop, just because I see an FPS, I'm like, nah. Same as the Life is, I can't remember what it's called now. The one with the shooting, talking guns.
High on Life.
Oh, High on
That's
Life.
the one. Yeah, like those kind of games, I just kind of tend to avoid now, just because FPS games, I just suck at them these days. So, yeah, there you go.
Fair enough. I mean, we got to get you back on the train, even if you just want to play Deathloop, because oh my god, we're getting to that in a minute. But
yeah, I'm going to put it on my download list. Yeah, to give it a go.
Damn right. What about yourself, then, Graham?
Yes, I picked,
mean, obviously, you don't suck at any game. So, is there anything you'll love?
I think that's not true at all. I would pick probably Rainbow Six Siege, mainly because during its pomp, you guys were loving that game, and I was trying my best to get involved, but I just could not get to grips with it. I was just mostly a liability most of the time.
Sorry, we're playing with Dan. You're not that bad.
Put into it.
It's a shock. I thought you were going to say Left 4 Dead, to be honest.
I suck at that game, but I have no interest in getting better to get at that game. At least,
to be fair, we all sucked at Rainbow apart from Jake, didn't we?
Yeah,
well,
I mean, we had a
moments, but I mean, you guys were sort of at least getting a couple of kills here and there. Sort of mine was a fluke, if anything.
But I mean, we could always play it again someday. It would be nice to play it again. But I think our skill ceiling, we've gone down, and the caliber of players is way up there now.
Yeah, way out there
to make it even harder to get into. And what about yourself, Ross?
So, piggybacking off Gray's answer, I would say Siege as well. I'd love to get better at it. I'm not by any means be a bit more, not so much competitively, but probably get into like the ranked modes and stuff like that and play it at that level quite well. The other ones I would say, especially as Pete was saying, the Souls games. I know Ian's super high on Elden Ring now. I wish I had the sort of patience to sit down and get through a game like that. Same with the Souls games, Bloodborne, anything along those sort of proper hardcore, got to know the movements of every opponent, got to like min-max your builds to get to the end game. They've always intrigued me. They've always looked beautiful, but I just don't have the patience or the ability to get through them. And another one for probably the competitive nature, like Rainbow Six, is Rocket League. I think like watching some of the Rocket League players and the way they like, you don't see their cars touch the ground for 90% of the games, and just some of the skill levels that are in that game is unbelievable. So I'd quite enjoy getting a wee bit better at that.
Yeah. They literally only touch the floor to get more boost.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, to start
back
off,
on the roof.
Then they're in the air. Then they need to get boosted. It's just watching it is it's one of the few like esport type games where you watch it and you're just like blown away with how talented the players are. Because you like also games like Dota, League of Legends. There's a massive following behind them, but they're not, to the casual at least, not overly entertaining to watch. Same with like I know like StarCraft has a massive esports community behind it, but again, it's an RTS. It's not something that's going to be the most entertaining for most people to watch. Whereas you've got games like Siege, Rocket League, where you can just drop in, watch them, and go, "Wow, these guys are like ridiculously good."
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna piggyback off your answer and go with Rocket League myself, because I used to love playing. We're gonna go for it. Supersonic, Acrobatic, Rockabout Battle Cars, and I got quite good at it. Not like flipping through the air good, but like decent enough where I was always holding my own. Rocket League come out, I was doing really well because everybody was new on the Xbox, and I was like, I know what I'm doing. And now I just absolutely no chance.
Lasted all of about a week.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be able to do the like I said, the flying through the air and the changing trajectory and flipping and basically not touching the ground and hitting the ball at all sorts of crazy angles. But I can just about hold my own, but I'm nowhere near being what you consider probably like good at it. I'm like capable. I'm not going to win any awards or competitions or even most of the games that I play. I just enjoy playing it. It's such a good fun game. And I enjoyed, especially when we played some duos and trios and quads and stuff. Yeah, it's really good. It's hard when you get paired against a team that are just fucking all over the shop. Like, I can't even see you, let alone fucking stop you. Yeah, that would be my pick. I think I was trying to think of another game that was slightly different, but although I'm not especially good at any games, there's not. Yeah, I mean the ones I do play, I'm interested in, and again I'm sort of capable, but just not especially great at any of them. Where it's like even like Fortnite, I love playing Fortnite. I'm definitely not anywhere near the world's best player at Fortnite, but I can hold my own, get to the top 10 most times, if not the top 3 or 4 easily, and get a few wins.
That's the non-building mode. You got to go back in the building.
Oh no, yeah, I wouldn't even touch the fucking building mode now. No chance. No chance.
Got to beat those speedy builders, Jay.
Yeah, fuck that, no chance. But yeah, I think Rocket League is the main one. I haven't played it for a while, but if I could go back and play it and get to that sort of level, I'd really enjoy that. I think, but too old and slow for that now. I ain't got no dexterity for that sort of nonsense. So that was the game. Again, any comments or your opinions or your answers down below in the comments or Twitter or Discord? Join all the links and stuff are down there. Let us know what you think, your opinion. And again, any questions, please ask them. Whatever you like. Xbox have an AMA every week. As long as someone asks some questions, that'd be nice.
Mention Ian's.
We'll ask her. Of course, Ian, sorry, I'm not ignoring you just because you're not here, but I am a little bit because you're not here. He said probably F1. I imagine that, again, much like we were saying with Rocket League and Souls and FPSs and stuff, I'm sure he's quite good at them, really, Pete. He's just not as good as yourself. I won't mention the facial. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, he's just obviously not as practiced as some of the other guys you play with, which obviously then hinders his ability to enjoy it, I guess.
Yeah, everyone's one of those. Or Ross will tell you, everyone's one of those games where you need to practice it quite regularly to get good at it, if you like.
Yeah, so. you can play it sort of like people picking up and playing it casually. They'll leave like the racing line on, and yeah, it'll get you around the track, and yeah, it'll be good because it's telling you like when to start braking, where to go for when you want to be in the apex and things like that. But I was trying to think of a way of, like describing how to do it. Can't think of a game that like does a similar sort of idea, but yeah, it's productive, but it's not efficient. Like it's not the best way to get around the track. You can brake later than it recommends you braking, so you take more speed into the corners. You can have a more aggressive line than it suggests, and you come out with a better light. There's loads of things. Pete knows exactly what I'm meaning, but it's one of these things where it's fine, but you're never going to be the best at it unless you commit the time to learning where's your braking zones, what angle should you be coming.
Things like manual gears, traction control, they all kind of add up once you get used to it.
Yeah,
you know.
Nice. Well, maybe it'll be challenging you one day, but if he stops hunting Chivos, he might have the time.
He doesn't hunt Chivos anymore. What are you talking about?
Yeah, of course he doesn't know you. Yeah, we'll see. That's probably what he's doing tonight. Really, he's not actually doing anything else. He's just trying to fucking win another competition or something.
He's sitting there with his X-share screen.
Got about 3, like his PC and his Xbox is going, trying to like, grind achievements in all of them.
He was giving me his breakdown on how he got his football manager, like almost completed the football manager achievements, and I'm looking at him going, I mean, yeah, it works, but fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have a dedication. You know,
he doesn't actually play it though, does he? He just does. Whatever.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I think what was it? What did he say? He took the highest level Iceland team for the second division, who only plays like 10 games, got them promoted to the Premier League in Iceland. So he got an achievement for taking your team to the top division, but you only had to play like 10 games to unlock it. And I'm like, fucking point of that? You'd go on holiday and that's it, done. Yeah. And then you had to win the Icelandic division. I was like, oh, well, that seems piss easy. Which, when you think about it, when you're just trying to get the achievements, fair plays, makes sense. But at the same time, I thought, no.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a different beast. Perhaps one day we'll have him and some of his other Chivo buddies on here, and they can discuss why and the hows and the who's and the whats of achievement hunting and stuff.
Maybe in our AMAs, people can ask how to get. I imagine Ian's got an achievement from most games these days. So if people want to ask questions, Ian, how do I get this achievement?
You know, the guru.
Yeah, we can have like our own consultation zone, like the Games Master, you know. Yeah. Hello, Ian. On level 3,
Ian will just go trueachievements.com.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, that's enough achievement talk. Ian's not here. We're talking more about achievements when he's not here. That's not good. That's not good. Let's talk about a game that we'd like to play, including our Project Game Pass game, which, if you're not familiar, I'll give you a spiel, is every month we pick a game from Game Pass, we play it, we discuss it, and then at the end of the month we give it a quick rating, pop it up on the website, and then we move on to pick another game, so on and so on. Sometimes we pick single player, sometimes we pick co-op or multiplayer games to play together. But this month, or the last one we picked, which was for December and for January, because obviously Christmas break, everybody's busy, is Deathloop. Fantastic game from Arcane. Come to PS5 2 years ago now, I should say. Finally come to Xbox last September. And it's our Project Game Pass game. So before I rattle on about it, because it's the only thing I've played this week, basically, apart from one other small game. Has anybody else played Deathloop this week? Anyone got any opinions on it?
I can't say I've dabbled in it any further.
God damn it. I will
download it, play it, and I'll put some notes in the show for you for next week.
It will be downloaded, but it will be played by the cut-off date. Hopefully next week, now that I've got another game out the way that I'll speak about later.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm just going to rattle on about it very quickly then. I spoke quite a lot about it last week, about how much I was enjoying it. Finally finished it last night at like 1 a.m, and it's fucking brilliant. It's got the Arcane magic of, as I said last week, like the powers and the world and the way you can use them to sort of solve things your own way. You know, there's obviously an ideal way and a less ideal way, but as long as you've got the ability and the powers behind you, you can pretty much do what you want. There's no right or wrong as long as you survive at the end of the day. And even if you die, you're probably still going to come out of it with something like having learned something that you can use next time to then progress further or unlock something or get something or do better next time basically. And by the time I reached the end, I was way overpowered. I spent way too long trying to figure out the ins and outs when really I should have just carried on with it because I was already at the point where I could have finished it. So the idea is you've got a day and you've got to kill the 8 visionaries that are sort of creating this death loop. And you have to kill them all in one day. If you don't kill them by the end of the day, you loop and you start again and everybody's alive again. You have to start and try and figure out how to kill them. The actual game itself, the only thing I was a bit disappointed with was it tells you, you need to figure out how to kill them. So you need to figure out where they're going to be at each time of day and how to get as many people in one place as possible so that you can then kill them without missing one person or what have you. But really, all you got to do is follow the objective markers and it will do that for you. So there's not really much in terms of figuring it out yourself. You just complete a mission and he goes, oh, maybe if I sent this message to this person, they'd go to the party at the end of the day and then I could kill them as well. I was like, well, okay. And then when you get to the end, it literally gives you a checklist of saying, right, in the morning, go here, in the afternoon, go here, in the evening, go here, and that's it, done. And you just follow the steps, and killing all 8 of them was a piece of piss, basically. But again, I was way too overpowered by that point. I had a little machine gun, which I'd buffed with some perks, and it let me basically turn it into a one-shot sniper rifle that was silent, and it fired faster, so I could kill anyone from almost any distance with this little machine gun without being heard or seen. And it made it quite easy by the time I got to the end where I'm trying to pick people off, because there was one visionary who is in the afternoon, at noon, and he's way across the map, and I was using a sniper rifle beforehand to kill him, and I just used this and one shot killed him straight away. Oh, okay, done. He's out of the way now. But apart from that, like, it sort of holding your hand, especially towards the end, there's still so many other things I can go back and find. There's so many sort of side stories and missions and hidden collectibles and objectives and stuff that you can do that it doesn't hold your hand for. Like, there was one where there's a locked door and you have to find the 3 codes, but until you find the people that go to the door to unlock the thing, it doesn't tell you where they are or how to find them, or even how to actually get the code out of them. Eventually you find out where they live, but it doesn't tell you, Laura, come back here at this time and you'll find the code. You have to figure it out yourself. And that, I really enjoyed that aspect of it, because there was quite a lot of that with trying to unlock weapons and perks and stuff like that as well.
So could you complete it quite quickly then?
No. I don't know my exact hour count, but I've played it every night since last Sunday for a good 3 or 4 hours a night, as well as whatever I put into it before that. So we're looking at a good 20 odd hours at least, probably. And that was just since I started playing it again. I played it for 5 or 6 hours, like back in September, I think, when I bought it. Because I played on the PS5. I didn't play the Xbox version, but it was very good at it regardless. And I want to play the Xbox version now, because you can play as the main character you play is Colt, who's trying to break the loop, but you can play as Juliana, who tries to protect it. And that is like an asynchronous multiplayer thing. So you can join some random person's game and try and kill them to stop them from progressing through their story.
Oh.
But because I don't have PS Plus, I can't try it on PlayStation. So I want to try it on the Xbox to try and see how that works. Because if they kill you, then they get a massive bunch of XP and Residium and perks and stuff. Whereas if you kill them, you effectively reset their progress that they might not have saved. So it's a good way of like trolling players and possibly.
I'm guessing you get a warning if someone's ended your game, though, right?
Yeah. Well, again, when she does it, if you're playing solo, she does it it's like an AI character, and it comes up and says Juliana is on the hunt, and then you can't escape the level until you kill her or she kills you. Right. And if you kill her, then you get all the perks. But if she kills you, then you get 3 lives. But if she kills you 3 times, basically, you lose everything you've not saved in your progress so far.
But she's set up to your super gun.
She had no chance. Not to my super sniper rifle or assault rifle. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And I was looking at the trophy list of it, and there's one for going through and killing all the visionaries in one day without being spotted and without killing anyone else, just the visionaries. And that's going to be so fucking hard, because there's so many people, especially around some of the visionaries themselves, So I'm quite tempted to try and give that a go, not for the trophy necessarily, but because that sounds like a fun
I
challenge.
know Graham likes stealth, so I'm sure he can give you some tips.
No, I'm keen to go back and give that a go anyway. It did seem quite interesting.
It was, I mean, stealth is obviously key because I love a bit of stealth, but going action and going all out is just as valid. Like, again, I had the sniper rifle, assault rifle, like super weapon, but there's loads of other guns that are way louder, and you could just run into a room and just spray and pray and just fucking absolutely decimate people. Like I had basically I was carrying a super powered weapon, a sniper rifle, and a minigun, and the minigun would just like just to make a mess of everybody. But again, it was too loud for my likes. I like a little bit of a quietness to it. But yeah, it was fucking brilliant. Absolutely loved it from start to finish. Apart from, like I said, just a bit too much hand holding at the end of saying how you're going to kill the visionaries, and the menus. The menus are fucking shit. Please change them. They are dreadful. They're kind of like Destiny, where you got like the cursor you scroll around rather than just like, you know, up and down on the D-pad stuff like that. But the way they highlight the text for the weapon descriptions and stuff, it just flicks all over the place depending on what side of the screen you're on, and it's distracting and horrible, and I hate it. And it doesn't tell you, like, if you're picking up the trinkets which you can upgrade your gun or your character with, you can pick up multiple of the same one, but it doesn't tell you what you've already got. So if you've already saved one, like using the Residium to keep it as a permanent thing, you might end up with another three or four before you realize you've already got one, and you can only use one. So you've wasted a load of Residium saving the same thing over and over again. And it's just the menu itself is just not very clear, so it doesn't make it obvious to say like you've already got this, or like a instant trash button or something so you can get rid of shit you don't need. But other than that, they're my only two sort of minor criticisms. I think it's fucking brilliant.
So Mr. Happy Cloud Gamers says in the chat, if he loves Hitman, would he like this game then?
Probably. I mean, I don't like Hitman, so I don't know. But I mean, it's from what I have played of Hitman, it's very similar to the idea of having your own way of trying to kill the target. So you go in and you can either, like I said, you can snipe them from a distance, you can get up close, you can try and lay some traps, or you can try and use other bits of the environment to kill them. But I don't think it's quite as open-ended as Hitman, where, like Ian was saying last week, this time I'm going to take a sniper rifle, this time I'm going to take a vial of poison, this time I'm going to take this, and sort of experiment with the whole level. It doesn't strike me as being quite as open as that, but there's still plenty of options to do things. And again, as you progress, you learn new ways of killing people, which will then let you get to the end, like the final day, and end it properly. But yeah, I'd definitely give it a go if you like Hitman or any of that sort of thing. But it's a different sort of like stealth killing simulator, as it were. It's very fucking good, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I wish I'd played it sooner because it was fucking tremendous. And not that it matters for Xbox, but the DualSense controller, it is fucking brilliant. I love that controller. It's such a great little bit of kit, and I wish we had something like that for the Xbox side of things. However, no one else has played it. I've waffled on for too long yet again. Please, someone, let's go with special guest P, shall we?
Well, you might as well jump in and do your other game.
No, I'll come back to that because that's a real quick one, and I can mention it later. I need a drink because my throat's fucking well dry at this point. Pete, special guest Pete, tell me, you're joining us. What have you been playing this week, or indeed in the last since we spoke to you, however long ago that was?
Well, if you want me to rattle off every game I played in the last 2 years, then let me just we'll start off with the non-Xbox game.
We got time down, not here.
That's very true. The non-Xbox game is I completed and finished off Pokemon Violet, which was pretty good, to be fair. I noticed I got a friend request from Ross on the Switch last week, so yeah, that's it was a pretty good game. It was quite glitchy, but it was nothing game breaking. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It was definitely a different way to do Pokemon games, whereas in traditional Pokemon games, it's right, go from Gym 1 to 8, Elite 4, whereas there's actually 3 storylines, and I think there's at least 25, 26 kind of chapters, if you like. So yeah, I think I didn't play Pokemon Arceus, but this is definitely I think a good step for the Pokemon franchise. Moving on from Pokemon, I did try completing Fallout 4 this week. I got to the
Try and complete it.
Yeah, so I got to So I got to the part where I found out, I got to meet the father, who the father was, etc. Then go to the next mission where you have to kind of go with that with a synth. But unfortunately, I think the game, it's not broken, but he's in constant combat. So I can't talk to this NPC. There's a Brotherhood of Steel guy hanging around. And if he's not fighting him, one of their helicopters comes in. So the guy I'm supposed to speak to start this quest is constantly in battle. And I fast traveled from left to right, reset the game. He's always in combat. So I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to complete the actual proper story of Fallout 4.
Have you no backup saves?
Probably, yeah, but it'll probably do the same thing, to be honest.
I think that's a common problem on.
Yeah.
Is it X? Can't remember his name. Something like XC88 or something. It's the synth that you're with.
Yeah.
The proper assassin type bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a common thing that you can fix, but I can't remember how you do it.
Yeah, it took me a while to get into Fallout 4. It took me I think I was level 10 by the time I was like, yeah, I'm quite enjoying this. And it was okay, nothing groundbreaking, but obviously it's 7 years old now, so obviously it was okay, but there's definitely better RPGs out there.
DLCs are really good.
Yeah, I did. I haven't done Nuka World. I did Far Harbor. That was a good
Far
DLC.
Harbor's
I enjoyed that one. Yeah, that was a good DLC. I like that.
And so is the Automatron one as well. That's quite a good wee one. It's short, a lot shorter, but you get a lot out of it.
Yeah, the thing I found with Fallout 4 though is that I got a few guns early on, and I just haven't stopped using them for whatever reason.
Is one of them the Deliverer?
No, there's the pulse rifle from the Brotherhood of Steel guy. That gun,
yep,
just powerful. And I got a sniper rifle, which just happened to have like a 50 caliber gun, and it's like I can either do close range with the rifle, or I can just snipe people's heads off. So yeah, there's a lot of variety in those, because I'm like, I've seemed to have got two guns that have good mods quite early on, which seemed a bit, but there you go. So yeah, that's Fallout 4, pretty good. The other game that I said I'd kind of review for Jay, because it's been on the review list since I think October, which is called Silver Nornir. I thought I'd give it a go, because almost this time last year there was another game on there called Rise of the First Power, which was an 8-bit RPG. Turned out to be my game of the year. It was absolutely fantastic. This game, on the other hand, I struggle with positives for it, to be honest. It's not the worst game I've ever played. That still goes to Just Cause 2 or 3, whichever one it was. But this game is I started playing it and I looked into it and I was like, it was originally released on a mobile game, which makes so much sense to the pacing of the game, where everything's so fast and the music's fast. Everything's like, go, do this. And then all of a sudden the characters are like, oh, by the way, I can do this. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, by the way, I can do this. And one person, oh yeah, I can read your mind, but I don't use it.
This is a Kenko game, right?
Yeah, the Kenko game. Yeah. So I mean,
Kenko. It's coffee.
Yeah, in all capitals as well. And like you can see on the trailer there, it says, "Oh, you got to, save the world. The previous world destroyed." And I'm about 15 hours in, and there's just no word of this. You'd think that because they referenced it right at the start, you'd think at least a third into the game by now they would have realized that they're fighting for the future of this world that's already been blown up 2 or 3 times. So, yeah, I mean, it's again, you can tell it's a mobile port just because of just the cutscene. Well, not the cutscenes, but the battle scenes, all that kind of stuff. So. It'll definitely be if I get around to writing some words down for it, because I'm struggling to go back to it. It will definitely be my lowest review so far. I mean, to be fair, it's not a high bar really, because I think Sniper Elite 5 got 7.8, and I think that's my lowest review. This will probably be in the 5s maybe, but yeah, I need to force myself to play it a bit more to see if it does get better. But 15 hours in, it's not great.
I mean, by that point, if it's not grabbing you by that point, it's
that's the thing, I love an RPG, and this is just not how an RPG should be done. I'll leave it at that. And the last game, obviously, just a bit of Football Manager. Haven't played a lot of it, so far, but I'm literally still only halfway through my second season, managing Albion Rovers.
Good Scottish team, so I like to
yeah.
hear.
Well, I usually I'm quite boring, quite vanilla, whereas I usually always pick an English team. So I thought I'd branch out, and I went to Scotland.
God, see you really push the boundaries there.
What I like to do is just I don't load any databases or skins. I'm a proper vanilla FM player. Just is what it is, and I'll pick a league, like I said, which is usually England, and I'll pick the bottom league. I'll pick the team that's favourite to finish bottom, and I'll try and build them up to be champions of the top league, and that's what I'm doing with Albion Rovers. Found a few gems. This guy got released by Celtic at the end of season 1, and he's got 34 goal involvements in about 25 games. So
what's his name?
Hang on, let me get it up for you.
Anyway, while he's doing that, I'll jump in my games because I've got some Football Manager news as well. So taking off Pete's sort of experiment where he picks the lowest team from a certain league and he tries to work on it. I, unlike Pete, go to even further extremes and I download additional databases. So in sort of Scotland, you go down as low as League 2, and that's like your professional or semi-professional tier. It will not go any really lower than that. But taking inspiration from one of my sort of YouTubers that I quite like watching, Work the Space, he has set up a data, or he's taking part in a database where he's got the 8 tiers of England, so like way sort of football pitches that you walk past that like kids play on and things like that. That's how low down he is. And he's taken inspiration and went Guernsey, so small island just off the coast of France, very remote, very difficult to get players to go to, very interesting type save. So I've went same sort of idea, but I've went to the Orkney Islands in Scotland and taken the only team in Orkney. And I'm trying to work up from the Highland divisions and eventually get up to the Premier League based on Orkney, which I think they have about 4 football pitches on the full island. And I mean, like, not stadiums, I just mean football pitches. Their closest rivals are Shetland, and I think like even that isn't a team that you can play as because it's that small a game. So that's my Football Manager for my single save. I have picked back up on my online career. So the mighty Brighton and Bristol City are vying out in the Premier League. Bristol City having a fantastic season this season, running Man City close at the top of the league. Brighton having a bit of a down year after winning the Champions League and Premiership last year, so languishing in 6th. But hopefully new signings in January. Hopefully a wee bit of improvement after that.
Adam Brooks was the guy's name. Adam Brooks.
Nice. Well, Russ, why don't you carry on and tell us about the other 2 games you've been playing? Because one of them I'm very, very intrigued to hear about.
That Pokemon?
Absolutely not.
So I'll do GSR, then I'll get Pokemon out of the way. I, like Pete, have been playing through Pokemon Violet. I am almost completed it. I have 1 Pokemon to complete the Pokedex. First time I've ever completed a Pokedex in any Pokemon games, even though I've played every single one of them.
Who do you need?
It's the legendary. It's the legendary from Scarlet. So can't even help you with it. So yeah, have to trade to get that. I think Ian's going to sort of try and hook me up with that. If not, I'm sure there'll be somebody on the link codes that'll be able to get that with, and that'll polish me off with Pokemon. I'll be able to pick it back up and do shiny hunting and things like that, but that means it'll stop taking up my time. And I came across a very interesting game on TikTok, which where wasn't expecting to find games, and it is, as Jay was alluding to, being interesting, in it, Superliminal. That is for me to say. Superliminal. It's fucking incredible.
So why TikTok? Not that I want to get into TikTok, but what?
I was scrolling through it, and it's one of the puzzles that's in the trailer, and it's the chess piece where it's on a pipe. And it was a guy who was just going around, and it was just scrolling through it, and I seen like the movement going about. I thought, oh, that looks very Stanley Parable type of idea. And I was looking at it, I was like, so basically the premise of the game is it's all to do with perspective. So everything looks normal, but if you pick something up and walk really far away from it, it becomes huge. If you pick something up and get really close, it shrinks in size. You can make things bigger and smaller to interact with the room and different things. Like there's a puzzle in the game at one point where basically you have 2 panels on the floor, which control the door to get out of the room, and there's nothing else in the room to get in it. So obviously you can stand on one panel, nothing happens because you need somebody to stand on the panel, and you can actually take the exit sign off the wall, but the exit sign's only maybe say that for perspective. So you need to then find a way to get it to go bigger, so you can eventually like push it to the further side of the room, pick it up, it becomes massive. You can then put it on the 2 blocks, opens the door, you get out of the room. It's an amazing concept. Like, the game is fantastic. It's very simplistic. Like I say, it doesn't have the witty banter. Well, it's got like a narrator, Portal / Stanley Parable type person that when you move through the rooms, you get like a commentator going through it. Not as funny as any of those 2 games, but very similar type of concept in regards to trying to give you the humour as you progress. But oh wow, I was blown. Like I say, seen it on TikTok, so it was a 30-second clip, and that was enough to catch my attention. And then having played it, it's on Game Pass just now. You can play it on the cloud. You can play it on PC Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. It's fucking brilliant. You got like 20 minutes to do a couple of levels on the cloud. Jump in.
Yeah. You haven't finished it yet, no?
No, like I said, I only picked it up this week, and between Pokemon and Football Manager, it's literally, as I say, picking it up on the iPad controller, running away and doing that X amount of time. The touch controls work really quite smoothly as well, because I think it's a PC game as well. Touch controls work very intuitively. You swipe across the screen like you'd be moving a mouse, and it's only B and A pretty much that you use to sort of interact and jump. So it doesn't take a lot to, even if you're just touching the screen, it's still fantastic to play that way as well.
Because by the time you sit talking about like, the narrator and stuff, by the time you get to the end, I actually found it to be quite
dark. I've heard
a bit, but also quite like impactful. Like the sort of the message, as it were, at the end of the game, that stuck with me for a few weeks. And I it might sound silly, but it sort of gave me like something to think about. If something was like having a shitty day, I was like, well, that sort of perked me up. If that makes sense. It's a weird.
I mean, it's not a big game, is it? Like,
no, it's only a few hours long. It was one of my Game of the Year contenders for 2020 or 2021, whichever year it was. I fucking loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And like you said, it's not complicated to play. It might look a bit complicated, but when you actually play it, it's fucking dead simple to get your head around the puzzle, like mechanic. Not necessarily solving the puzzles, but the idea of what you're supposed to do. But it just gets better and better and better. Like Portal, it's nice and short, doesn't outsay its welcome, and it's constantly like, we thought this was all this could do. Well, here, have this puzzle room where it changes things up a little bit and moves things around, and it's brilliant. I look forward to hopefully you getting a bit further and seeing.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine by the end of this week, like for next week's podcast, I'll have it completed, because, like I say, now that I've not got Pokemon in the way, it's one of these games where you can sit down for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, knock out a couple of levels, and then you can feel like you've achieved something on it.
Yeah, I think it took me like maybe 3-4 hours to beat in total. Like, it's really not a long game at all, but really, really, really good. And because it's still on Game Pass, so 100% go check that bad boy out. And go for it. They did include a multiplayer update on PC version where you could do puzzles together. You could change the perspective, obviously in real time. But I haven't tried that because again, it's just PC, and I don't have it on PC like to mod like that. I think it's only on Steam. But definitely go play the single player. Graham, sorry, Ross, you got another game.
I will done. That was me. Yep.
I'll cut you off. Sorry. Shut up now, Ross. Graham, you've also got a game I'm very interested to hear about your opinion of, but it's up to you which one you go with first, please.
Well, I wouldn't get your hopes because I've only literally dabbled a tiny bit into it. I've been more playing my review title,
which is
One Piece Odyssey. So that's a game based off of the anime One Piece, about pirates. They eat sort of things called devil fruit, which gives them all kind of different weird and wonderful abilities. With the main character Luffy, he's kind of made of rubber, so he can do stretching and turn his arms into giant fists to sort of hit enemies, etc. So it's a bit of a weird and wonderful story, and the game starts off really quite confusing because you land on this sort of island. You've got struck down. You're kind of not shipwrecked, but you end up on this island that's a bit mysterious, and just every enemy that comes up against you, you just literally whipping everyone I was like, this game, I swear I didn't put it on any kind of easy mode. And then once you get to like kind of an hour in, that's when the story kind of unfolds. One of the people of the island basically takes all your power away and basically scatters it around the island. And so you suddenly become a bit weaker and you have to go find all these cubes to sort of get your strength back, as they keep saying, getting their strength back. But you get bits to unlock your skills. And so I see why they've done it this way. It's a way of, I mean, I haven't watched all of the anime. I know it's quite a lengthy anime, but they've done it so once you get to a certain point, there's tears on the island which take you back to a memory. And that memory takes you back to, I assume, a section of the anime that I haven't seen yet, where you kind of almost relive a memory, but you relive it in your weaker version of yourself. So you have to sort of go through the memory as it was and get your strength back to be able to sort of conquer the memory. So it's quite cleverly kind of done story-wise, which is quite useful for me because I don't know the anime. So even the memory is kind of new to me. So it's quite fun to watch it all kind of through. And it's got a lot of humor in it anyway. So playing through the story is good fun for me anyway. I kind of like these kind of styles. Graphical-wise, it's very similar to sort of how basically all the kind of the Bandai games, similar to like how Kakarot from Dragon Ball Z looks as well, that same sort of graphical style. And looks pretty decent on the series consoles. The gameplay itself is quite kind of standard, quite linear in a way. You can't even detour until you're allowed to detour. So if you try going the wrong way, it goes, hey, aren't we supposed to be heading east? You're like, oh, okay, fine, turn around. He's like, you have to go towards where the story tells you to go to until you've got to a certain point. Then you can explore a little bit. So it's kind of linear, not massively, like not really boxed in, but there is a linear touch to it. The combat itself is very sort of Final Fantasy style. It's turn-based, and it's got a 3-way power structure. So one's good against that one, but weak against the other one. Kind of like paper, scissors, rock in that kind of power is good against speed, but worse against technique. Technique's good against power, but rubbish against speed, and that kind of layout. So the enemies are one of the three, and obviously more or less that will receive more damage depending on which way you are on that. But you start off with pretty much your whole squad from the anime. So there's like 7 of you to play around with. So you can mix and match your squad up depending on who works well in your team. But the interesting thing they've done in the battle modes is they've given you kind of like the different areas. I've only ever seen like 3 areas max. But you have enemies that are close to you in your area and enemies that are close to your buddies in the party. So it's not like you're on one side and they're on the other side. This one, you kind of split into like different areas. So you might have one person there, 2 people there, and another person over there. And your skills can only attack ones that are close to you or ones that are further away. So you can either concentrate on the enemies that are there, but you can't use a close skill on one of the other areas until you've taken out the enemies in front of you first. Yeah. So it's kind of added a bit more of a dimension to that kind of turn-based strategy. So you can help out your people that are further away by doing a long skill because your part of the trident helps out against that enemy. So you can kind of play that way. And they've given you, in the same sort of way as Final Fantasy, a way of just putting it on auto battle, which comes in handy when you're sort of taking on the lower enemies. So you don't have to keep going through the same sort of, okay, attack the weak ones. And so you can set it onto auto battle to play through, and it plays it quite cleverly. Or you can just go straight to manual when you're taking on bigger bosses to sort of really sort of get involved that way. So very interesting, digging it, and sort of about 18 hours into it, and yeah, I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. I think I'll probably play through. I don't know how far, but I'm literally in the first kind of memory. So I'm hoping there's memories like this. This one's pretty damn lengthy, so this game could be pretty big.
So One Piece he's the guy that's got the different gears, is it? Is it gears he goes through?
He goes to different gears. It's just how powerful he gets and his rubberized motion. But I didn't even unlock those skills to go into different gears yet.
So you're not even in first gear yet?
Well, I think he mentioned
I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know how it works, to be fair.
Yeah, he just gets different levels of pumped up and just becomes that kind of stronger. But yeah, there's more characters to join in. So I'd be interested to see how it kind of unfolds. I imagine the party's going to change as you sort of immerse yourself in different memories. The squad changes and you get more skills as you go along and collecting different kind of items. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. If you enjoy these kind of Japanese RPG kind of style games, this one's just it. Only battle wise, it brings something new, but other than that, it's just your usual great story and just like the battling. It's just as good fun. So you'll keep your interest, and it looks like it's got a lot of legs to it. So you'll be getting your money's worth on lengthways.
Nice. And what about Tales from the Borderlands? You not played much, you said.
No, I've dabbled in it. I've met your buddy Louis, as you said. I can see why you found him amusing.
Yeah.
So
he's fucking brilliant, is Louis.
Yeah, so I played it when I was a little bit too tired. I thought the way it sort of starts you off isn't the most exciting things. That the scientist you start off with is just digging around in the lab. It's a bit slowish, and then it starts to pick up a little bit after that. Thankfully, because running around searching for things in the lab is a bit meh.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting intro, although it is quite funny at points. But yeah, once you has she sort of left the spaceship yet, or
not yet? That's what I mean. I literally got it to where the woman goes into the diner, so I'm really kind of early on.
Yes, I think literally like the next scene is where things start to pick up and carry on. But yeah, really, are you enjoying the jokes and stuff?
I enjoyed the jokes from the first one, but yeah, it's good. I mean, the interaction between that guy and Louis was, I can say that's going to be a funny kind of conversation going forwards.
Yeah, there's one bit which I think they might have just popped up in the trailer where it had me like fucking cracking up with what Louis was doing. It's so funny. But anyway, I won't spoil it. I'll let you get to it. But hopefully you play some more and we can chat about it more next week. But
I will do.
Definitely a great video game. Anything else or?
Only the usual FIFA, but I've spoken enough of that over the weeks.
Okay, well, I'll jump back in very quickly with the other game we're playing, which is Paper Ghost Stories 7 PM. Now, this is basically an interactive ghost story, basically, and it only lasts at a push 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes if you really take your time. But the idea is that much like some of like Tales of Borderlands or other games like that, like you go through multiple times and sort of expand the story out once you learn more. But again, like Deathloop, so you play as a couple of little kids who have been told a story by they call her their auntie, but they live in this little flat complex, and the grown women are aunties and the grown men are uncles. It's just what they call them. And she's telling them a story about then a new neighbor that's moved in, and every day the kid stands on the balcony, waves to the sun, and like waves goodbye to the sun. And they think it's a bit weird, but they've never actually seen the kid. They keep trying to invite them out to play with them, but they never hear any response. And the auntie hears the dad shouting all the time. And then they go exploring, and obviously Paper Ghost Stories, things get a bit weird, like creepy apparitions and stuff appear. Again, it only being half an hour long, I don't want to say too many details, but it was enjoyable. I enjoyed what it was. It was not the best story or the best gameplay in the world, but it was a neat little half hour where I sort of worked my way through the story. The first time I finished it, it said I got 50% of the things you can do, because there's lots of different interactive things around. Like there's the first one you get to do is throwing a rock at this kid's window to try and get their attention. Another one is finding a character who's doing some grieving of one of I think their kids has died or something. They're sort of setting up a little remembrance thing for them, and there's other people to talk to and interact with in little mini games and that. But you can ignore that and just follow the story and get through it in probably even less, maybe 20 minutes. It looks lovely. Like it's in Unreal 4, and it's all paper cutouts of people, but the actual world is all 3D, and it looks really good. Like the effect they've gone for of like these paper characters walking around and the style of like the cutscenes where they're talking, and again, without spoiling the details, some of the horror elements, the ghosty elements are quite effective. They're quite well done.
Did you get scared, Jay?
No, it's certainly not scary, but it's quite entertaining. And yeah, and I played for a couple of times, and I enjoyed it enough. I gave it a half decent review, which I'll get to in just a second. But it's only a couple of quid, I think. And if you just want something to fill, an hour, and then even if you want to play for it a couple of times, It's decent enough. It's not going to live long in their memory. It's certainly not going to challenge anyone for Game of the Year or anything like that. But it's a decent enough interactive. I mean, I don't know how we couldn't complete it, because even in his limited gaming time, like I said, half an hour is more than enough to get through it if you don't do all the extra objectives and stuff. And
could Ian 1000G it though?
You know what? Actually, speaking of achievements, one of the main reasons I picked this up was to get a few achievements for the old Microsoft Awards, and I thought I'd just get a few TOs. That'd be enough. But I actually ended up playing it through and enjoying it, as I said a couple of times. I see the achievements are a piece of piss as well. I nearly got all of them, but I need to save some for next time. But yeah, decent little story, decent little gameplay. If you're up for something along those lines, go check it out. You can go check out my review on xboxtavern.com. And the other thing I really have been playing is Fortnite. As always, I'd love a bit of Fortnite. Working my way through the levels, trying to get my V-Bucks back. So I haven't got to give Big Epic any of my actual real money. I can just give them their own money back. That'd be nice. Lovely.
Yep. And you surpassed me in game time play, didn't you?
Yes. I looked up my game time the other day. I sent it to the special guest Pete. Since he's been playing it, obviously, I don't know how many years it's been, maybe 4 or 5 years at this point. I've played it for a whopping 10 days and 3 hours, which is surprising somewhat. But I forget my number one on my friends list. I think they were something like 100 odd days.
Oh, third of a year, man.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was now. It's not anyone you guys know. I think it's someone from. No, it's definitely not Ian. He's been fishing that whole time. But yeah, I love a bit of Fortnite. I've been really enjoying it, and working my way through the battle pass, getting some of the skins and stuff. But anyway, that's enough Fortnite. Let's move on to reviews from the rest of the team. Should we? Like I said, I reviewed Paper Ghost Stories. I gave it 6.5. Like I said, it's decent, just not. It's not going to last a lifetime kind of thing. Daniel reviewed Swordship, which is like a reverse bullet hell type thing, and I think he spoke about it to us previously. I forget, but his review's up now. I gave it a 5.8. And Corey reviewed Wavetail, which gave a 7. It's like I think it was a Stadia exclusive, and now it's obviously Stadia is about to shit the bed in a couple of days, so they're sort of getting the games out on other consoles, and it looks decent. He gave it 7, like I said, like a third-person action adventure type game. We'll go check them reviews out. There'll be a few more this week. I've got a few on the go as it is, and obviously we've got a few big ones coming up hopefully at the end of the month. So yeah, go check out xboxtavern.com for them. That'd be wonderful. And I also finally got around to updating the what's coming up and the Project Game Pass pages today. So go check them out as well, please. That'd be lovely. There's not many big games coming out in January, but obviously February, March, April, May, June, plenty of other games coming out.
You said there's not big games coming out in January.
There's not many. I could only find 2 that were really worth putting in there.
I was going to say
didn't catch much, but yeah. So go check them out. Let's move on to things that if you don't want to go read the website, which you should, obviously, xboxtavern.com, you can go on to Game Pass, this little service that everybody loves, best deal in gaming, etc., etc. And Ross, tell us what has come or what is coming to Game Pass, please.
So the other ones have been at the start of the month, so we'll go for the ones that are just due to be released. So we've got Mortal Shell. No, that was the one that was started the month. Persona 3 Portable, which is on cloud, console, and PC. Persona 4 Golden, which again, cloud, console, and PC. Most of these ones are. Monster Hunter Rise, cloud, console, PC on January 20th. And then rounding the month off, we've got Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, which is console and cloud.
Nice. And yes, as Happy Cloud Gamer just says, we might even get some more games later the month. Perhaps at the developer direct, they might announce a few more.
There was another one that was rumored. Was it Inclunati? I think it's called. Which is another one coming soon, but I don't know if it's not got a date. Well, it's coming soon. It's going to be in January. We just don't have a date for it yet.
Yeah, so that's got to be on the showcase surely. Ian's not here, so special guest Pete, have you got the document open? Do you want to do the honors for Game Pass games leaving, which is today technically?
Yeah, well, I asked Jeeves earlier, and this list is still the same. It doesn't look like there's any more games leaving. So if you listened last week, it's the same list. So and all these games are leaving today. So we've got
go on.
Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc Anniversary Edition. Nobody Saves the World. Oh, that's a good game actually. Nobody Saves the World. Go check that out. Actually, that was a good one. Paparazzi, the what's the something else then? Anacrusis,
Yep.
and Windjammers 2, all on cloud PC console. So all those are leaving today. So get on it if you haven't already played them.
Yeah, so if you're listening live, Happy Cloud Gamer, go check them out before they leave. If anyone else,
Especially nobody plays the
tomorrow,
world. Just say the world. That's a good game.
Yeah, I suppose it's a really good game, but luckily
Yeah.
I have access to that anyway, so it's fine. Anyway, Graham,
Yes.
if those cool kids who aren't with Game Pass, I mean, they got to get up with the times someday. Perhaps their Stadia subscriptions running out in a couple of days, and they've got a chance to go to Game Pass. But for now, they're stuck with Games of Gold. What can they pick up for free?
Well, they got their last chance to get Bladed Fury because that is done as of January 15th today. And then they've got Iris Fall from the 1st of January to the 31st. And then coming soon, Autonauts on January 16th to February the 15th.
Nice. So again, I mean, I must admit, I don't really know any of them games at all. But go check them out. They're free. Why the hell not? Even if you want to play them in 30 years' time with your kids, assuming Xbox is still around, go check them out. So I believe if anyone else has got anything to bring up, we've done it. We've made yet another podcast. Xbox Taverns Xpod Tavern 103rd. Anyone got anything they'd like to mention before we round this wonderful podcast off?
No, for me, thank you for having me back. It's been a pleasure.
Well done to make a successful return.
It's been a pleasure to have you back again, special guest Pete. I'm sure Millie Manning will be back next week, but we'd like to sort of mix things up. So perhaps we'll have you back again sooner rather than later. How about that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me. Cool. Well, for myself, you can follow me on Xbox or Twitter, whatever you like. Oh, Jesus Christ, you changed that on at Enaxan, or indeed at Xbox Tavern on Twitter. You can find us there. You can find Graham
At Graham Reaper.
You can find Scottish Gruff Ross
At Scottish Gruff.
You can find Special Guest Pete
at Peter Kinch.
So go check that out. Thank you very much for listening / watching / commenting if you're going to leave us a question / answer to the question of this week. And we shall see you all next week at 8 p.m.
Ish.
Yes, that was the best one yet. Thank you very much, lads. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.